Hello and welcome to the Awakening Collective podcast. It is Hayley here, and wherever you are right now, whether you're driving in your car or snuggled up in your jammies or doing the washing up, I thank you so much for being here. Today, we're talking about activating the lower chakras to activate your intuition. And I know it sounds wrong, and I know there's going to be a lot of people going, "What are you talking about?" Because this idea is easily dismissed. We know and we understand that the crown chakra and the third eye chakra are, about our connection, are about our insight, and our visions and the way that we communicate. And if we want to open up our intuition, we need to just concentrate on these spaces. But if you have been doing this for a really long time, but you still feel like you are struggling with connecting to your guides, with getting through messages, um, yeah, just hear me out and give it a go and see what happens for you. I've always been intuitive. I didn't recognize it as such most of the time, but I also never really got what intuition was for. And for those of you who've been following me a little bit, you will know that I truly and honestly believe that our intuition is an internal navigation system. Our connection to spirit is there for us so that we can come into this lifetime, dismantle all the things that we need to dismantle in order to start breaking down the hold that the powers that be have on us, so that we can all live true soul aligned lives and do and live and be who we came here to be and experience and expand and connect with each other and just live these beautiful lives. So that's what I believe our intuition is for. So it's not just about getting in the messages, it's what we do with them, how we use those messages to change our lives, to change our reality. We all understand the concept that we create our reality, that our beliefs and our patterns and our behaviors, our past life ties, all of that um, shape the way we make decisions, and the way we make decisions then shapes the reality that unfolds in front of us. So it's not just about the messages that come through, it's what we do with them. And I think, which I will talk to you about in a minute, this is where 9 times out of 10 people are going wrong. The people that I've worked with, the people I've sat in circle with, the people who I've given readings to or helped over the years, 9 times out of 10, the problem isn't their intuition. It's not the fact that they can't hear messages or receive messages or that they don't have those vivid dreams or experiences. It's the fact that they don't really understand how to harness them in and use them. And this is where these lower chakras come in. So, if you are feeling like you're at a point in your life where things don't seem to be changing, or where you feel like you just want the messages to be stronger and bigger and more vivid, and you want to hear more and you want to see more because you just don't feel like anything's shifting, or you feel like you've reached a plateau, then this is definitely for you. So, first of all, I just want to say that we don't just use our crown chakra, our third eye chakra to channel. We use our entire system. And one of the things that I want to talk about, it's later down on my list of things to talk about, but just want to talk about now, is the fact that we have this belief that is very unhealthy and unhelpful, that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And we need to stop separating these two things. We are human beings, and being a human being is, yes, about being in this physical reality, but it's also about being deeply connected into the dimensional frequencies that we have access to. It's about the fact that we are energy, that we do have connection to source point, that we do have connection to other beings, that we can be telepathic and we can draw on past life experience. All of this creates us as a human being. And so I think separating spirituality and humanness is very, not dangerous, that's probably a little bit over the top, but it's not helpful. And I have a Pleiadian aspect of self. And when I was chatting to her one day, she said to me, "Do you think that we walk around on our planet saying we are spiritual beings having a Pleiadian experience?" She's like, "No, we're just Pleiadian beings. We understand that we are all of these things embodied." And that's where I think we're sort of getting a little bit separated and a little bit lost, is that we see our humanness, especially once we step into awakening. And we start going, thinking about humans and this planet as being a little bit of a shit show, we separate the humanness and the spirituality. But until we learn to like really embody and harness and smash all of that together, we're going to feel a little bit lost. You are an amazing spiritual being, and that includes your humanness. So let's try to stop separating out those things. So what I was saying before I went on that little tangent is that we don't just use that crown chakra, that third eye chakra. We use all of our chakras and all of those dimensional frequencies, because each chakra is in line with a dimensional frequency. And we use all of that to bring in, receive, translate, communicate, embody, and act on the information that we get. So if our entire chakra system isn't in alignment, if our entire chakra system isn't activated as we start to channel, then we're going to find it difficult not only to bring in that information, receive it, translate it into like human speak, because a lot of us may just get, if you're a clairvoyant, you may get symbols, and you've got to be able to take that information that's in sort of like basically a different language and translate it into human speak. So part of that is a throat chakra situation, right? We want to be able to translate it and move it through us and embody it and integrate it and then take action on it, especially if we are using our intuition and these messages that are coming through from spirit as intended, and we're using it to actually be soul aligned and make soul aligned decisions. We have to be able to act on that. So this is what we're talking about today. So let's talk about the role of those lower chakras. Okay, so let's talk about the solar plexus. Now, the solar plexus is in line with the fourth dimensional frequency, and I'm not going to get on a whole rant today about this whole 3D, 5D thing, and we're so consumed with the 3D and the 5D that we forget about the fourth dimensional frequency, which is the whole point to everything. We cannot make it into the embodiment of a fifth dimensional frequency within ourselves and on this planet if we're not working on the fourth dimensional frequency. But like at the solar plexus, we know that this is our power center. It's our intuitive center. It's our trust in ourselves and also therefore in spirit and in the messages that we're receiving. It's the confidence that we have in ourselves. It's our value and it's our worth. And if we don't have these things, when it comes to bringing in messages and interpreting them and talking them and acting on them, then we're not going to get very far. It doesn't matter how vivid your messages are. If you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust what's coming through and your ability to translate it, if you don't have confidence in your ability to translate it, if you aren't willing to step in your personal power and step into that soul aligned frequency and do what you're being guided to do, then it doesn't matter how amazing your communication is and how open your third eye is, you're going to stop yourself. This is where your ego is going to show up, and that self-sabotage, where your ego is going to start trying to get in there and talk to you about how you don't know what you're doing and the messages aren't clear enough and you're no good at this kind of thing. But on a fourth dimensional frequency level, the fourth dimensional frequency is what houses our trauma. So it's where our trauma, our karmic loop, like our trauma from this lifetime and others, obviously. So we have our karmic loops, past life experiences, all of that stuff is housed in the fourth dimensional frequency. So this is the area and the space that we are clearing out in order for us to start embodying those fifth dimensional frequencies of unity, of compassion, of love, of connection, right? So if we want to sort of move to a space where we're living more from this, this is where the spiritual healing work comes in. This is why when we awaken and start our spiritual journey, our healing comes up. Because if our healing doesn't come up, we can't fully embody love. Like until we learn to love and have compassion and empathy and kindness for ourselves, we can't truly embody that and start really understanding what that feels like and looks like on a collective level, right? So that's why clearing out all this fourth dimensional trauma is really important. So like I said, this is where the ego comes into self-sabotage, because if you've got karmic blocks, past life experience and trauma around, maybe the last time you stepped into your power as a fully embodied spiritual psychic gift, psychic being, and you were shunned from the town and then lived out the rest of your existence alone in the forest, cold and hungry and alone, your ego is going to be going, remember the last time we tried this? So let's not do that again. Let's not bring in these messages. Let's not talk about it, because you're going to end up alone and cold in a forest. And that's the end of that, right? So this is the area, this is the frequency, this is the chakra that all this kind of goes on in. So this is one of the reasons why working on that solar plexus center, aligning it, opening it, clearing all this stuff out of it, really working on your worth, your value, stepping into your power is so important when it comes to channeling. So the sacral chakra to me, so this is about the creativity, it's about flow, it's about manifestation. But to me, when I tap into my sacral chakra, into that womb space, I just feel so much divine feminine energy. And our divine feminine is that intuitive center. It is flow. It is surrender. It is nurture. And so this, again, obviously this is also really, really important when we channel. We want that surrender, and not just channeling, but again, like I said, using it to actually become soul aligned and live and move in a soul aligned way. So we want this center moving and working. This is our center of manifestation. And if you're bringing in messages, like I've said, that, it's saying, okay, well, in order to be soul aligned, you need to do this creative thing, or, this is what you need to bring into your life. If this center of creativity is not harnessed and it's not working and it's feeling blocked, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do in order to step into that. So, yeah, it's really important, this center. And I feel when I tap into this center as well, I really feel that deep connection to deep inner ancestral, like ancient wisdom as well. So it's that connection, like you think back to when we were complete matriarchy, where we really lived in that divine feminine energy. That is what I feel when I tap into that center. It's that real ancient ancestry, that tribal ancestry. And so being in that, being connected into that, working on that, it brings in so much more of a scope of what we can have access to. I think we think of our crown chakra and our third eye chakra of being connected to spirit, but if we go on this dimensional frequency thing, right? So all of our chakras have a different dimensional frequency, and each dimensional frequency also houses different levels of beings. So, I mean, for instance, in that sacral chakra, we do have that to ancient wisdom. We do have, this is also where we get into the frequency of trees and flowers and plants, but also like those telluric beings, your fairies and your gnomes and your pixies. So if you're not open to that and you're not harnessing in that and activating that when you come to channel, you're missing a whole level of frequency of guides that can be bringing through, and beings that can be bringing through a really great perspective for you on what you might need. So that's the other reason. I mean, like, it's a whole big chat about, like, the dimensional frequencies of guides and stuff. But again, like the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, and this dimensional frequency, you're up with more of your Pleiadians, which is great. Like, we want to be cosmically connected. We want to be connected to galactic beings, but there's also a whole load of other beings that, if you're sort of not really thinking about it or blocking it off, or it's not really activated, that you're shutting yourself off to. And even with the solar plexus chakra, that's where our sort of, what I call human level guides are at. So these are the guides to me that are aspects that are more, that like have probably been human. So it's your ancestors, like your ancestors, your crossed over loved ones, and the guides that are here who have sort of had a more human experience. So if you're not tapping into that, then yeah, we're missing out on such a load of great perspective. Anywho, went off the track there, but back to the sacral chakra, to me, when I tap into this center, this is that real deep connection to ancient wisdom and ancestry, and that real divine feminine of flow and creativity and birthing. And I'm not just talking about birthing as in babies. I'm talking like birthing creativity, new ideas, projects, all of that kind of thing as well. So we want to be able to use that space too. And then we've got the root chakra, and like what I heard once, which is so true, the more you ground and get connected, the higher you can actually go. So the more roots you have grounded down into the earth, the more pulled into that frequency that you are. And I always try to feel it like a magnet, like really pulling the base of my spine and my energy down into the earth. The more you do that, the higher you're going to be able to go. So the more expansive you're going to be able to be from the crown if you are more grounded. And so really making sure that that center's firing and is really connected is important. And it is my belief and in my experience that when you are fully bringing in and embodying information, you actually don't feel like you're away with the fairies. You know, sometimes you meditate and you're very open in the crown, you feel really flighty and you kind of can't come back down, or things are kind of a bit wishy-washy. It's because we're not grounded enough. And if you're in full embodiment of your intuition and the messages that are coming through, and you're really doing it sort of, for want of a better word, and I'm using air quotes for those of you who are on the podcast and not watching the video, in the right way, then you actually should feel more grounded and heavy rather than off and away with the fairies. Yeah. We really need to make sure that we're grounded into the planet, into the energy of the earth. So our root chakra also helps us to feel really safe and supported. It's got that security, but it also starts to bring in the action. And I mean, I see it as, I mean, I know sort of like that third dimensional frequency is about physicality, but for me, if you're really grounded and you're really okay in your root center, you feel safe, you feel secure, you're going to take action and you're going to be happy to take aligned action. And if we're not moving, if we're not taking those messages and actually doing something with it, nothing's going to change. And you're going to think, oh, well, I need more, like that's not working and that's not happening. So I need more messages. My messages aren't strong enough. But I want you to ask yourself, the last message that came through, did you actually do it? Did you follow it? And I have so many people who, even just with oracle cards, yeah, it's like, I've been turning this oracle card over for the last 6 weeks. I've been getting the same thing. And it might be saying to, I don't know, I always use the example of walking in nature. So if you've been getting the intuitive nudge or a card that keeps telling you to walk in nature, but you haven't been outside yet, maybe that's something that you should try. And then once you've actually done that, and once you've started getting in tune with that frequency and you've started opening that up, your messages might start to flow again or get more vivid again. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we're actually grounding everything in, and we need to make sure that we're grounding into our physical body. Yeah, it's got to integrate and move. Like any healing that's happening, any messages that are coming in, anything we start taking action on, we need it to actually be like, we need our field and our energy and our body to be open to actually moving that through into every part of our being. Yeah. So it's not just about the energy. Again, this is why it's so, we've got to remember not to separate being human and our physicality and our energy and our spirituality, because like this stuff changes the structure of your DNA. It changes the cells physically within your body, and it needs to integrate and move through all of that and feel safe to integrate and move through that and feel, and your body needs to be open to that physically. And I believe that making sure that we're really grounded and in our body is something that we need to make sure that we're doing. So what I suggest is, when you sit down to connect, to channel, to bring through messages, don't just open your crown. We open our crown. Well, I do anyway, whatever it is that you do, connecting to source, bringing that energy through, opening up your third eye, but then also move down, keep going, open up that throat chakra frequency, open up your solar plexus and ask to like really clear anything out of the way, so that, allow your ego to be moved aside so that you can bring through the information. Open up and activate that solar plexus, open up and activate the root chakra, and really ground deeply into the earth, making sure that, everything's open, everything's ready, everything's activated in order for you to receive, translate, communicate, and integrate, ground in all the messages that are coming through for you. And as far as the solar plexus is concerned, just continue doing your healing. You can have a look into past lives around your psychic gifts and all of that kind of thing, look into those Akashic records, however it is that you want to do it, and really start working on dismantling that and clearing that. And just also making sure that you're always working on stepping into your power, on you're working on your lack of value or self-worth, the confidence in yourself, and start seeing where all of that's coming from, so that we're really rooting out all of that fourth dimensional stuff. Like I said, this is where all that icky stuff is, and moving this stuff out of the way is not only what's going to help us with our intuition and help us to live soul aligned when we feel like we're stepping into our power as a spiritual, a human being. And we're meshing those two things together, and we're stepping into who we came here to be and living that soul aligned life. We need to be moving all of that fourth dimensional stuff out of the way and clearing all of that out, because that's going to do that. It's going to help us do that, but it's also going to help us to break free from the matrix. So, the more that we do that, the less tethered we are, the more we step into our power, the more we become who we came here to be. And what we came here to be is a spiritual human being, embodying all of that. That's what they try to dampen so badly, because they understand our power, right? So then with the sacral chakra, just doing that womb space healing, and just asking, and we're going to do this as a little exercise in a minute, but just asking what it actually feels like to be in flow and surrender and in soul alignment. So we're going to do that in a minute. So this is something you can do with the sacral chakra, but also it helps for us to get that real balance between masculine and feminine, because that's what we're doing, right? And this is why working on more of that intuition and not really working on the grounding doesn't harness everything in, because we're not balancing the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And masculine, sorry. So to me, intuitive action, inspired action is the perfect combination of us using divine feminine and divine masculine. So, and, going off on another tangent, we want equality within this world. We want, masculine and feminine to be in balance. But until we learn to use and balance that properly within ourselves, we are not going to see that in our physical reality. So the more that you can do that within you, the more that we will see it start to change on the outside. Everything comes down to as within, so without. So whatever changes it is that you want to see in the world, whether you want to see everybody living in more forgiveness, in more unity, all of those things, you need to have that for yourself, within yourself, with your shadows, with your, past, with who you are, loving yourself, forgiving yourself, balancing the energies within yourself. Yeah, so that was a little tangent again, but you know what I'm saying. So, and then with the root chakra, just always focusing on grounding and connecting to the earth and the planet. Remember, the further you go down into the earth and the more grounded you are, the higher you're going to be able to go. So just making sure that you're really into that and being really present, being present in your body, being present in what you are doing, because it's great to sit down and meditate and ask for messages and flip your cards, but we want to get into a process where we are receiving messages all the time, where we can just stand in the cupboard and go, hey, body, what do I need to eat today to make me feel good, and get that intuitive message. But we can't do that if we're not present in what we're doing, if our mind's always off somewhere else, if we're thinking of 400 things at once and we're not really just mindful, we're going to struggle too. So just making sure that we're present in what we're doing, that we're mindful and really grounded. And when you meditate or are asking for guidance, remember to bring it all the way through. So remember to, what I like to do is I just get a message and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just sort of ask for the codes of that and the energy of that to just become fully embodied. And I see it kind of wrapping around me and grounding into the earth. So through my root chakra and grounding into the earth, so that whatever's coming in, I'm actually really intentionally allowing the codes and the energy of that to come into my being. So yeah, there's a few things that you can do. And let's just sit for a moment. I'd really love just for a second to get you to try to harness in what it feels like to be soul aligned and to be like what it actually feels like when you are bringing in information and fully grounding it, when you are fully embodying what the process of making soul aligned decisions and just what that actually looks like and feels like for you. So obviously if you're driving or doing something like where closing your eyes is going to, and you don't have to do it closing your eyes, if you're like pretty well versed in all of this stuff, you don't have to close your eyes, you can just do it where you are if you're able to be present enough. But if you can, close your eyes. If not, come back and do this later. Take a deep breath. Just allow yourself to relax. Shake everything off for a minute. Another deep breath in and out. And as you breathe out, just allow roots to go from the base of your spine all the way down into the core of the earth, really anchoring in, seeing all of those roots, however you see that or know that. Whether you see, feel, hear, know, whatever your process is, just know that those roots are going deep into the core of Mother Earth and really harnessing you down. I want you to feel like the energy is just really pulling you like a magnet deep into the earth and allowing that energy to come up through the base of the spine into your belly. On the next breath, it flows into your heart, relaxing your shoulders. Breathing in and allowing that Mother Earth energy up into your throat. And as it moves to the top of your head, you feel that crown chakra opening now and feeling that tunnel of light opening up, moving all the way up through the clouds, through the stars, through the cosmos, up into source point, that beautiful, unconditional source of light and love that is for you. And allowing your source point energy to flow down. And as it starts flowing down this tunnel of light, just imagine it just really opening you up and connecting you into the universe, activating connection to the cosmos, activating connection to galactic beings and your galactic aspects of self, your family, flowing down, activating connection to all dimensional guides and angels, coming down and activating connection to your higher self and your intuition, and feel it coming down, opening and activating that third eye, flowing through and opening and activating your throat, your heart, moving down, activating that solar plexus, activating your sacral, down, activating that root chakra and really harnessing back down into the earth again, right down into the core. And I want you to just ask, really call your higher self forward now. And I want you to feel an energy at the top of your head, which is your soul energy. And I want you to fully embody your soul. I want you to feel this energy just pushing through your head, over your head, down through your face and neck. Allowing your soul energy to just really take up space within your body, take up every space in between your cells, flowing down over your shoulders, down your back, into your belly, allowing your soul to take up all of the space in your energy through your hips, down your legs, into your feet, and pushing forward a couple of feet out in front of you, behind you, side to side, above and below, so you feel fully soul embodied. And I want you to ask your soul self, your higher self right now, what does it feel like to be in complete flow, to be joyful, to be in your power with your intuitive and psychic gifts? What does it feel like to be taking soul-aligned action? Just allowing this frequency to move around you, move through you. And just ask your energy, your higher self, to just start really embodying this, bringing the codes right into your frequency, into your body, into your cells. breathing it in and out. And just really allowing this energy now to ground in. So through your root chakra, down into the earth. Just allowing again this energy of being soul aligned, in flow, of being empowered to take aligned action, of stepping into your intuitive and psychic gifts. And again, just allow it to embody your cells. Ask for it to just really embed itself into your energy, harnessing it down in and through. Another deep breath in and out. And when you are ready, just open up those eyes. So if we can take a moment every morning or, through our day to just really sit in this energy and just call forward our soul, embody our soul, and call forward and ask what it really feels like to be in divine alignment, to be in soul alignment, to feel flow, to feel the energy of whatever it is that you want to be feeling, really, that flow, that surrender, that aligned action to what it feels like to know that you're in your power, and just really hold that frequency and harness it in as much as you can, and just ask yourself to just try and hold that in as much as you can for the rest of your day. You'll be well on your way to just really bringing in that intuition, to acting on that intuition, and to feeling really truly aligned and connected. You won't be second guessing the things that are coming through for you, the messages that are coming through for you, the images, the sounds, the knowing that's coming in for you, when you know that you are truly in your power. And that's what we all want to be, right? We want to be stepping into our true power. That's how we break free from all of this, and how we begin to really step into that frequency of love and compassion and unity on this planet, where we start actually stepping into expansion and changing the way that things are here, and really just embody being a human being in all of its, bits and pieces, and what that means, and bringing all of that and harmonizing all of that together. So thank you so much for being with me today. I'm going to just pop in a link for a new freebie that I have around spiritual blocks, which will help you sort of really finding out what's going on in that fourth dimensional frequency, and things that may be standing in your way from harnessing in your intuition, for getting out of that feeling of being stuck, like you're not getting any messages, like nothing's coming through for you. So I'm going to pop that in the show notes. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have an amazing day. Please do this a few times a week or every day if you can, just really harnessing in that energy. And remember to open up all of those chakras. Let's stop just focusing on one and focus on all of our brilliance and all of the energy frequencies that we have access to. All right, you guys, have an amazing week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.